Welcome to Real Estate Coaching Radio, starring award-winning real estate coaches and #1 international best-selling authors, Tim and Julie Harris. This is the #1 daily radio show for realtors looking for a no BS, authentic, real-time coaching experience. What's really working in today's market, how to generate more leads, make more money, and have more time for what you love in your life. And now your hosts, Tim and Julie Harris.
All right, welcome back. I have got a really great person to introduce all of you guys to today. His name is Rick Janson. Now, Rick has been part of our lives for, it seems like, forever. He's a Harris certified coach. He's part of our EXP family. He's been a coaching client. He's been involved in our lives, and we've been involved in his for a long time. And I'm really excited to have him on because he has made himself into an expert about AI as it pertains to real estate. And as longtime listeners or viewers will know, that is something that is massively interesting to Julie and I. And prior to the interview, Rick and I were just going back and forth and talking a little bit about some of the things that he already knows. Like I said, Rick, wouldn't it be cool if this was possible? And he's like, well, Tim, here's the website. Here's how you can do it today. I'm like, okay, well, you're definitely going to be interviewed. All right. So Rick, welcome to the interview. And also tell them a little bit about yourself and where you sell real estate, and do please include your phone number.
Okay, Tim, thank you so much. And it's great to be on here. It's quite an honor. My name is Rick Janson. As Tim said, I moved to Denver as an attorney with an MBA in marketing back in 2000, became a real estate agent in 2002, and have been climbing the ladder ever since. I sell in Denver, Colorado. And if you want to refer business here, my phone number is 303-589-2320.
Say it one more time.
303-589-2320. And my real estate website is rickjanson.com. That's RICKJANSON.com.
And of course, if you're thinking about joining eXp Realty, and I think you guys are about to be amazed by what he's going to be sharing with you about AI, and you're looking for our sponsor who would be very proactive in your success, Rick is certainly available for conversations. So Rick, let's jump in because I think this AI topic is so incredibly fascinating. I'll tee you up. So AI, one of the theories that Julie and I are working on is that everybody within 6 months or less are going to be able to be a prolific YouTube, Instagram influencer because of AI. You're knowing where I'm going with this. I'll tee you up. So is it reasonable to assume within 6 months, give or take, that there are going to be AIs out there of Rick Janson talking Rick Janson's voice, saying amazingly smart intellectual things about real estate, trying to attract buyers or sellers or whatnot, and that the AI then is going to be able to pump that created content out to all the socials on autopilot? Am I oversimplifying it?
That's already doable. So it is already doable. And the funny thing is, like, it's been doable for a while. Now, one of the things we did over here, one of my companies, we started a lead generation company called Appointment Pilot. And Appointment Pilot's whole goal is to remove the agent as the variable in prospecting, because nobody ever watched HGTV to watch a 3-hour cold calling session. They really should be focused on, serving the client better, counseling them at the inspection, counseling them through the contracts and the appraisals, the title, all of that. So we're trying to remove the agent as the variable in prospecting, and we're doing that with AI. One of the ways we do that is with personalized one-on-one video, which can also be used for what you're talking about. Now, the personalized one-on-one video, I train an avatar like me, and I'd love to do this for you. Train an avatar like me, so I literally can just type in words, and my body looking this good, if you call this good, but with this level of clarity and being me, it's not going to change who I am, but looking like me is going to move my lips, move my head, move my body, and be virtually indistinguishable from me. So if I were to say, hey, VA, go on ChatGPT, create a script in my tone, my voice, talk about these topics that are trending right now on the internet, because I can search that. Rewrite a script for this in my style and upload my voice. I'll now get output that sounds like me, a script that sounds like me. My VA can upload that to my avatar, and my avatar can then present that as a video that my VA can upload to YouTube, optimize a title, optimize a description, hashtags, and everything. So literally, I've never been on except for 3 minutes to train my avatar. They can do a whole year's worth of content without me ever being in front of the camera.
All right, so I'm going to break this down. Yes, because you're right. That was my fantasy, and you've already figured it out, of course. All right. So you're going to go, for example, you could go to Chat GPT and you could ask, or whatever GPT you wanted to use, and you could ask it to go, your keywords might be, and Rick, obviously you're better at this than I am, so correct me if I say something dumb. I certainly will. You're going to ask the chat to basically create, chat, please create, the titles and outlines for 100 YouTube videos or whatever. And the videos, the topics you choose and have to be based on what videos as pertains to real estate, Denver, Colorado, or whatever, based on the number of views, based on the number of the amount of engagement. In other words, you're telling the chat to go and study to see what's actually already proven to work. And then you're going to tell the chat to choose, you come up with those, say 25 or 100, video concepts. And then you're going to ask it to create a fresh version. You're not telling it to copy the title or copy the outline from what that person said on their video. You're telling the chat to create original content for you. Good. Am I getting this right so far?
Yeah, so far. No, I as far as what's trending, I would probably use TubeBuddy or vidIQ to actually dive into the, what is actually trending on YouTube right now. But I made the mistake of, in my early career, I made over 400 videos that nobody really watched because I talked about what I wanted to talk about. One of the things you turned me on to in like March of last year, 2023, was like, Rick, speak to what is trending right now, right? So actually doing that trending research, finding what's on right now, but then between Bard and Gemini, ChatGPT or Claude, all the large language models for AI, getting a new script is not hard. Getting that to be in my voice is not hard. And then optimizing is not hard. Go ahead.
Don't pop off this. You just said something was actually genius. And I don't want the listeners to let this get by them. I said it wrong, as I told you I would, listener or viewer. I was suggesting you use YouTube, which is, as he just pointed out, you're looking in the past what was popular. He's saying use vidIQ or TubeBuddy because they're going to tell you what's trending now. It's what's going to be popular in the future. That's really important. That's huge. That's huge. Because if you're using historical data from YouTube to devise your content strategy for your avatar to create these videos for you, and you're using videos that have 100,000 views, it's on a topic that probably people don't care about anymore. Whereas if you're using vidIQ or TubeBuddy, it's telling you what's trending now. So that's a really awesome point. I appreciate that. But let me ask you though. So you're saying that, well, first of all, the GPTs aren't going to get behind the paywall of vidIQ or TubeBuddy. So you're going to have to go and do that research yourself, and then you're going to have to then tell the GPTs what to write about as far as outlines for the videos.
ChatGPT, through its web browsing feature, if you're using the 4.0 version, which is the best $20 a month you can spend on your business, can browse the internet. So ChatGPT can get current data, but you have to think ChatGPT is accessing billions of words. And you want to refine that to hundreds of millions or millions of words so you can get the data to be more what you want it to be. So whenever you're saying, hey, go research the internet to find this information, if you've already done a little bit of that research and can pull it into ChatGPT and say, refine yourself to these 5 websites, it will refine itself or confine itself and refine the research. Otherwise, it's going to pull from MSNBC and CNN and Fox, and we won't know where to look. It'll look at the highest trending website right now, but that's not necessarily the best information. So if you're trying to write something current and topical on a hot topic, like the proposed NAR settlement, or why would I buy at 8% when I own it 3%, or something like that, and written articles on all of those things, I try to actually shape it a little bit in terms of how it's going to give me the output. Because gold in, gold out, garbage in, garbage out.
That's an awesome point. So you're back to you're in Chat GPT 4. Thank you for really pointing that out. That's a good point. And then you are then going to ask the GPT to write an outline for a video about, whatever the topic is that you now know is something like, let's just focus on lead generation for the sake of real estate transactions. So you now are going to have chat write an outline for you. It's going to write the outline. It's going to write the words. It's going to write the exact every damn thing that you could possibly imagine. It's going to do it all. And then you're saying you then download that outline, and then you essentially it's uploaded to another software program, which is the avatar of you. Now, this is something that I think is very, like, you guys should all research this yourself, but there's this emergence of these virtual Instagram influencers, which in my opinion is hilarious. So there's people that have gone out there and created these Instagram accounts of people that look like AIs that look like people, essentially the videos, the still pictures, the whole thing. And they're usually disclosing in the description of the actual Instagram page that it's an AI influencer. But people are following those AI influencers just as if they were real people. It's mind-boggling. And they're selling ads. So people are actually making money from creating these AI influencers on YouTube and Instagram, which I mean is just so fascinating to me. But the point is, sorry for rambling, because like I said, I find this very interesting, is that the video, the likeness, including your voice, including your parlance, including your tone, including your everything, is indistinguishable from how you actually really speak. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, so the technology we have, I like to think it's best in class right now. We have 4 or 5 competitors out there, but at Appointment Pilot, we've really refined this technology. And if you're rocking as you're training the video, if you're moving around, your avatar is going to rock and move around. If you've got whatever your lighting is when you train it, whatever your voice is when you train it. I like to tell people, like, train it talking about something you love. Right? So you're going to talk about your family. You're going to talk about Ferraris. You're going to talk about like the beach. You're going to talk about whatever like brings you joy. And then in that training, and none of those words are ever going to be used, but what's going to be captured is your energy, the sparkle in your eye, the smile in your face, the lift you give to your voice when you talk about something you love. So then when your avatar is speaking, that same joy, that same lift can translate to talking about interest rates, can talk to advising home sellers on an inspection. Or one of the ways I like to advise people use it is like, let's get a consistent customer experience. And if you have a team, or if you're a small brokerage or something, and you're trying to create something bigger, let's say you have 10 consistent touch points where you want to send out a personalized video in the seller journey. You can literally have your avatar speak to every single seller in the exact same way and have all the variables change: the name, the address, the closing date, the inspection date, the title closer, all the important stuff. All of that can vary, but your VA, your TC can send out the same 10 videos to everybody in your process, and they always get the same experience. So you can elevate your brand and you can elevate that relationship and thereby get more referrals.
Well, so staying focused, that's awesome. And you can just plug those into the CRM so they go out and, in a certain sequence. But staying focused on there's a lot of agents that are, frankly, Rick, our age and older, who are intimidated by the fact that they think that that they're never going to be able to really be competitive in the real estate business going forward because of the fact that all these millennials and Generation Zs and whatnot are so fluent on the socials with making video and the rest of it. And the joke that Julie and I tell on the podcast is that, for all of you who've been procrastinating, having any kind of presence in video, guess what? This is the probably first and only time in your life when procrastinating has worked for you, because the technology is going to make it so that you could do exactly what you just said. And you can start pumping out as much social media, video, Instagram content as you possibly ever can imagine. And again, do this so that it's consumer facing, and use what he suggested, which is brilliant. Use vidIQ or TubeBuddy to come up with the topics that consumers are searching for, and just set the damn thing on autopilot. And even the most prolific, 30-something or 20-something video producer who's sitting right now in front of their desk and, not doing proactive lead generation, all they're doing is making these videos, your system, your AI system, is going to be able to outpace them on content. And it's fascinating too. I don't know, Rick, I'm sure you've done this. When you do a search, a real estate related search, and you use your mobile phone, unlike desktop, which is fascinating, video search results come up over textual search results. So Google is now giving preference to these little short videos, sometimes the long ones, but the little short ones, even if they're innocuous keywords like luxury homes, Denver, Colorado, or whatever. And so the reason that you want to take seriously creating your own social media content around what we're talking about and using AI so you can do a lot of it is because search is going to lean heavily into video. If I say anything dumb, get ready, write it down on my dumb things I say so you can correct me. And here's what's really cool is that YouTube is reading all of your videos. So YouTube has a transcript of all your videos and is looking for keywords to know what your video is about. So YouTube is watching your videos. YouTube is owned by Google. Those keywords then are making it into Google search. Why does all this matter? Because if you're using AI to write your outlines, and when you're telling AI to use SEO words, and basically Rick's going to have way more knowledge about this than I am, but gear your script so specifically, it's YouTube and Google search, bait, then it's going to intentionally make the script for your outline that your avatar is going to create using your voice, your likeness. It's going to make it so that it's exactly what the search widgets are going to search for. Why does all this matter? Because many of us have gotten to the point where we thought we'd never be able to dominate on with the visual medias. Wrong. Your procrastination has worked in your benefit. Number two, many of us have felt, well, the ship has long since sailed with regards to search results around my keywords in my particular real estate, geographic area. That's not true at all, because of what I just said. If you're pumping out a lot of video, and specifically, it's state of the art using all the systems that we just talked about, and you're doing it consistently, which you can delegate to the AI. And I just told you that if you do a search on your mobile, which like 99% of all searches are on mobiles nowadays, not desktop, you're going to discover that you will all of a sudden, it's going to be like, 1997 for you again, when Google came public, I think in 1998. It's going to be like you hit hard reset on the internet revolution, and you're now at day one again. What are you thinking, Rick?
My mind went through 13 different places. I'll try to break them down to two. So when you talk about the early adopters of this being younger, I kind of giggle, because I'm the exclusive strategic AI partner for Realm Global, and Realm Global's top 1%ers, luxury agents worldwide, and I'm teaching them AI. I'm their exclusive partner on that, and all of my early adopters are in their 60s and 70s.
That's awesome.
Which I think is fantastic, because they are out there eager to outperform everybody else. That's why they're in the top 1%. Like they're action takers, they're early adopters, and I love them for it. They're just brilliant agents. The second thing I was thinking about is when you look at some of the big YouTube influencers right now in the real estate space, they say, hey, I've done 2 videos consistently every week for 5 years. But now you can actually, maybe you train up 3 or 4 avatars, or maybe you just say, hey, this is my look. Like Neil Patel in SEO, he has a white t-shirt on a white background and he's bald. So he looks the same every single day. Doesn't care if he's going to be an avatar or real, because he always looks that way. Other people, black t-shirt, black background, and purple and orange lights, whatever. You can have your avatar look consistent and it doesn't matter. And then you can have your VA be more consistent than you at $8 an hour. And you can do a video every morning, every afternoon, 5 days a week for a year. And talk about things like the cost of living in Lakewood versus Littleton, or Wheat Ridge versus Westminster, Aurora versus Arvada, and have actual accurate data. I've never made those videos because I didn't want to research the cost of eggs and a gallon of milk. I don't want to research the average price of rent and spreadsheet this all out and make a video and then try to remember it as I'm reading the script, and then SEO it so Google and YouTube can find it and it ranks and everything else. But when you can have AI do all the research for you in 15 seconds, write a brilliant script, and then have your avatar read it, you can be so consistent while you actually are just out on appointments and your VA is doing all the work.
I know, it's so exciting. I love the fact you pointed out it was older people that are adopting. That really warms my heart, to be honest with you. I love that. Probably largely because I'm becoming an older person every year.
You and me both. We're within a couple of months, I think.
Yeah, we are. Where's your white hair? You don't have any white hair. Work on that.
It's all in my beard and the stress from the kids.
I'm sure. So let's talk about, for example, I'm personally researching for our coaching business. I'm researching different AIs for the sake of customer service. Julie and I listen to All In podcast. I know you do as well. And they're talking about that a lot, how they think that customer service is going to be almost completely replaced with AI. So a couple of days ago, I'm on Amazon and I'm doing some box didn't arrive or some Mickey Mouse thing. And the whole thing was AI. The whole interface was AI, and it was seamless. It was perfect. I know it was AI because it said it was AI, but I mean, the whole experience was so great. But what's going to happen, and what's really fascinating, and which we're going to go back, expand your thinking, video, voice, your Rick Janson, his voice, he's going to start, you're going to start contacting him through whatever means it is. His AI is going to answer the phone. So one of the biggest problems and complaints that consumers have about agents is they never call people back. They never check their voicemail communication. Now, what if, for example, I wanted to learn more about that house that Rick's got for sale or a listing in general? I messaged Rick, boom, instantly on my phone, there's Rick, and we're having this indistinguishable from real life conversation. At what point in the future, and this is what's really cool, will people not care whether they're talking to an AI Rick or a real Rick? Have you thought about that, Rick?
I haven't I haven't thought about the when they don't care, but July comes to mind because all of a sudden, without buyer commission being in the MLS, there are going to be a lot of phone calls made trying to figure out, hey, before I go tour this house, blah blah. But what if, and I'm brainstorming here, what if you had here's our buyer agent phone number, and instead of no call or no answer text backs, which was so 2023. What if every single time your phone rang, it was answered on the first ring, and your AI voice said, hey, what property you're calling about? Well, I'm calling about 123 Main Street in Bananatown. Okay, great. What's your question about that? Well, I'm wondering if there's a buyer agency commission offered on that. Yes, there is. In fact, it's X percent. Okay, thank you. Yeah, are you going to be touring the house today, by the way? Can I set that up for you? Right then and there, right? Like, and can I send over the disclosures? What's your email? I'd love to get you the lead-based paint and the square footage and the seller's property disclosure over to your email before you tour the property, so you can be better informed when you and demonstrate your professionalism when you're out there as a buyer's agent. Would that be helpful to you? What's your email address?
Exactly. Well, the AI would do all that, right? I mean, it's a very simple process.
Exactly. Yeah. So we've developed a proprietary AI voice, and there are, again, probably 5 competitors out there, but I think ours is best in class, where the AI voice can do outbound and inbound calls. Now, the federal, the FCC with the TCPA and all that on February 8th changed it. So you can't make outbound calls without express one-on-one written consent. But we have ways around that. We have ways to get that opt-in, not ways around it because we have to stay compliant, but we have ways to get that opt-in with high intent seller audiences. But the other thing is that with this inbound, like you said, nobody answers their phone in the industry. It's the big meme, it's the big joke, but stop the joke. Set up an AI voice to answer your phone every single time on the first ring. If you did that for all of your lead sources and then said, hey, by the way, you asked a really brilliant question there. Would you like a live transcript? I think you could really benefit from speaking to our regional specialist, our area manager, Tim Harris. Can I see if he's available and live transfer you over right now and do a live transfer to you after the AI answered the call? And then come back. Tim's not available, but he said, can he set an appointment for later today or first thing tomorrow morning? And the AI voice can actually set the appointment directly on your calendar and give you a recording of the whole conversation with all of the impertinent fields from that conversation live updated into your CRM.
So relationship AI, conversational AI, that's what you and I are talking about. So the AI that is available now that everyone can be leveraging is essentially creating the social media type content because there's no real interaction. But how long have you seen examples, Rick, where it truly is indistinguishable when you're talking to a video, likeness 100% 4K, have you seen a demonstration where you watched it and you're going like, holy crap, that was AI. That wasn't a real person.
So video to video interaction, it's not there yet. It's on the drawing boards. I've seen betas of it. The video to video interaction of me as an avatar talking to you, that isn't there just yet. But there are companies working out there, and our company's working on creating a video avatar of you for your website. So when somebody comes up, you pop up and you're like, hey, ask me any questions in my voice, looking at me. This is AI Rick on your website. Talk to me about the buyer process. Talk to me about the seller process. You want to know how to navigate our website? Interact with me. And so instead of just having a chat bot, they have a little live visual person down there. Now, how useful is that? I don't know. It's kind of gimmicky at the moment, and it's not there 100% in terms of quality. But can I have my avatar do a Zoom call? No. But can I have my avatar do 100 customized messages in 2 minutes? Yes, and send out 100 personalized video emails. So as leads are coming in, and I was talking to a title company about this earlier this week, as they get their file dump in the morning of all the new orders that came in the past day, the title company wants to send out a personalized one-on-one video to every one of their new customers from the president of the title company, welcoming them in with all their name, address, pertinent dates called out by the president without the president ever speaking.
That's awesome. Julie and I were part of a beta test for somebody who was trying to create essentially a voice AI that could do podcasts. And so Julie and I have got, I don't even know how many podcasts, over 5,000. And so what they wanted to do, and we tested it with them, and I'll tell you what the problem was. But we tested it with them where they took all, the audio, and then the transcripts, and then we would put in what we wanted the topic to be, and then the AI would write the script, and the AI would use our voices. The problem was that the AI wasn't able to do Julie and I's voice simultaneously and have it sound off, and it sounded like crap, basically. It could do one voice, it could do just Julie, or it could do just me, and it was indistinguishable, and the pacing was wrong. It was too slow. But then they showed me this advanced version that they were testing with like Joe Rogan or something. And I swear to you, I couldn't tell the difference. Have you seen that? Have you heard that podcast interview where Joe's interviewing, you know what I'm talking about, right? He's interviewing Steve Jobs. Have you heard
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. Where the
Really
whole thing's fake.
The whole thing's fake. And there's like another one too, where it's something similar to that. Yeah, you can't even tell the difference. So, I mean, I'm hoping that Julie and I could put ourselves out of a job of having to do the podcast. That'd be a dream, wouldn't it?
I heard there was one time where like somebody like Sam Altman or somebody dumped their brain into a knowledge base, and somebody was he was unavailable for an interview, and gave the knowledge base to the interviewer for the interview, and the knowledge base did a better job of answering the questions than the real human.
Well, let's be honest, Sam Altman sounds like AI. I mean,
Yeah.
IRL. So yeah, I mean, that's probably within his benefit. But I talk to like a cracked out squirrel sometimes, you know, so that's, you know,
Your
that
words,
would,
not mine.
yeah, well, it's true. But let's talk about like if you're a real estate team or you're a real estate brokerage, and this is kind of a intimidating question and thought, but at the same time, it's a liberating question and thought. Who in your business won't you be able to replace with AI within 12 months or less?
The
What
agent.
type? The agent. That's it.
The
I
agent.
agree.
Yeah, because the marketing can all be, I look at it as like swim lanes, right? So one of the things we try to do with our coaching clients and AI coaching clients is we try to say, okay, how do we get 100x improvement on whatever you're doing with AI? And so we come up with a standard operating procedure, and most people don't have that for almost everything they do, right? So we start with asking AI, what's an SOP for this procedure, right? Or for this task, for this
Well,
delivery.
walk me through an example. Give me a practical example so these guys can really visualize themselves having this experience with you.
Yeah, so let me get back to that just in 1 second. I'll think of an
Okay.
example, but let me go through the theoretical first.
Okay.
So we say, okay, what's the standard operating procedure? Okay, let's use social media. Like I want to do a social media post. What's our standard operating procedure for doing a weekly calendar for social media? And you ask ChatGPT, what's the standard, what's the best practices? Who's the best in the world at this? And using that, because some expert has already solved the problem. So now can you apply their knowledge to your template and you get a standard operating procedure. Then you ask ChatGPT, what of this can you do better than a human? And rate it on the terms of AI efficiency. On a scale of 1 to 10, what can an AI do really, really well? And don't worry about the human component. Just what can you do really, really efficiently? And so we try to take things from the human lane. Our job's $500 an hour work. Let's just call it that. If you really boil it down, and say, okay, where can I delegate that down a swim lane to a VA? If they had standard operating procedures. And then where can the VA then downgrade that to a swim lane where AI does that? And so we then bounce it between the VA and AI as much as possible so that the VA says, okay, now this is the next AI task I have to do, run it through 3 things, back up to the VA. Then I have to do these four AI things, back up to the VA. And then it comes to you only for quality control and review. And so when you take everything out of your swim lane and put it down to the VA and the AI, and you can get all of that down there. Now all of your tasks are in the $8 an hour range, and even only that, a quarter of them, because now AI is doing even more of it. So in the marketing realm, the VA should be able to do most of that leveraging AI, leaving like 1/10 of a percent of that to you just to say, hey, I like this. Boom, you're okay to post it, right? You should be approval only and not in any of the creation stuff.
So if you think about, let's say a real estate team, and let's say they're doing hundreds of transactions per year, and they probably have, who knows? I mean, honestly, they could have as many as like 7 or 10 support staff. And let's say it's in a major metro area, and that support staff is making at least 50 grand a year, right? And a lot of the best ones are going to be making over 100 grand a year. That's all money that could basically flow back into the business, into the team leader, and that's definitely. Most of those tasks you're going to be able to delegate to AI, and
100%.
so that's going to really turn the whole real estate team model and really brokerage model completely turn it around, because right now most of the teams are in brokerages, frankly, aren't making any profit, especially on the buyer side. So with what Rick's saying, he's over there for me, so that's the reason I'm pointing there. So what Rick's saying, he might be here, I don't know. Anyway, what he's saying makes total sense, because you're going to be able, as a team member or as a team owner or brokerage or whatever, very soon you're going to be able to increase your profit, maybe even increase your transactional volume if you choose to, and decrease the amount of time you're going to have to spend on supporting your staff. mentally, emotionally, and certainly financially. That should be exciting to everybody. And it should also be intimidating to everybody too, because that's gonna displace a lot of people. There's no doubt about it.
It will displace a lot of people, and the people that are going to stay are the people who train up in this. So that when I say you're going through the swim lanes, you notice there was a middle swim lane for an admin, a TC, a VA. That's the person who's actually leveraging the AI on behalf of the owner or the agent. But that person's also going to be paid more because they're going to be wickedly more productive. So let's say you take, three admin doing 50 grand of your work. If you can reduce that to one person, pay them 75. You still save 75 grand a year.
Yeah, that's true. And so like I like what you're saying, because essentially you could go from maybe having 3 or 4 staff members to one staff member that manages all the AI. But it's also conceivable, Rick, that the person you're having manage all the AI won't even have to be a high paid or high skilled person. They're gonna have to be more of a wedding planner or a traffic controller type, because the AI is going to get smarter. It's going to maybe even get to the point where it can remove that one person won't even be necessary for your system anymore. So, I mean, obviously I can talk about this forever, but when you're exploring this and you're really thinking about it, where are the touch points, or we're looking into the future, not even that much into the future, AI, AGI, artificial general intelligence, what really excites you? What is it that keeps you up at night thinking about?
I'll come to that in just one second, but going back one step further, where you said, who's going to get eliminated, even managers and C-suite can now be fractional. Because we've been able to build out custom GPTs and tools that can do the job of a CFO, that can do the job of a CMO, and greatly assist a chief operating officer. So when you're leveraging tools that are also leveraging people who have solved a problem before, because there's no unique problem. And for any unique problem, there's been an expert who solved it and wrote a book and come up with these templates and everything else. So we've built custom GPTs around all these processes. We have actually 1,100 KPIs that we've built out on our site for helping people, so that you can now go into 1,100 things. You want key performance indicators. You want to improve. We've got a system. We've got something built out around it, prompts built out around that. So now every one of those, maybe you look and say, hey, I don't need 5 managers or 5 C-suite. Maybe I can downgrade to 3 and have fractional ones. Or there might become a new position of a fractional CFO for 6 real estate companies, because they can do their job that much more efficiently. And just the efficiencies of all this are really, really exciting. And because all we're trying to do with AI, we're not trying to replace the human, but we are trying to give more time for human connection. So what I like to teach is that we're doing massive, efficient, organic content creation at scale. And even if you record all your own stuff and you don't do avatars, just the ability to do a cost of living comparison of 2 suburbs, 2 zip codes, that much faster, and actually record the video, put it on a teleprompter, put it on your phone, record the video and fire it off, you're saving so much time in the day. And where it gets exciting is you can use that time to actually have a life. You can use that time to see your kids, you can use that extra income to stabilize your life and get off that commission roller coaster. And the ability to maybe help agents stay in the industry and survive all these dramatic changes that will happen. You and I've been through them. We know more are coming. This one's not going to be any different than any other one. All the stuff that's coming in July 2024 is not scary. The ability to just ease people through that, and then say, hey, you've got more time. Go work out. Go enjoy a book. Go sit by a river. Go spend time with your significant other and your kids. That's the exciting part. It shouldn't be like you get more time to work.
But saying what you just did is brilliant, because you're actually, I'm gonna make this practical. So spend more time, for example, I'll just, lead generating, right? He said, all the hobby type activities, but a lot of the hobby type activities are the things that actually could lead to lead generation. Play more golf with a different group of people every time you play golf. Go to Orange Theory or work out on a regular basis around other people. In other words, what Rick is saying is the one aspect that AI will never be able to replace. It's the human to human contact. So if you can delegate essentially all the miscellaneous Mickey Mouse things that make up your real estate practice, that frees you up to do more high impact, high touch activities. But okay, what are you going to be doing? I mean, you don't have to be going to the BNI meeting or go to Toastmasters. You can decide to volunteer and go clean up the beach, or you can decide to do all these other things. And I 100% agree with what you're saying. But here's where where there's a split. There are a lot of people that do not know how, have never actually taken the time to learn how to actually communicate at a high level. And they're so uncomfortable with face-to-face contact because younger generations, I'm, talking about you, because you're so used to having everything basically done digitally. Everything's an acronym, everything's an emoji. And so that is where there's going to be an advantage to the older generations who didn't experience the internet until they were, 30s and their 40s, versus the younger generation that's never known anything different. What are you thinking?
That's brilliant. And I love it. And I love the fact that you're saying, hey, go enjoy your life, but go also leverage that. Like you're at the soccer game for your kids, go meet all the soccer moms and dads. They need
Sure.
realtors, right? But now you're out and you're present and you're visible and you're in the community. And when you say I'm a part of your neighborhood, you actually are. You're not just hiding behind a desk cold calling for 3 hours because AI can do that for you. You're not sitting there making videos 3 hours a day because AI can do that for you. So use AI only to meet your next best friend.
Yeah, but you got to when there's been big changes like this. Obviously, there's always big changes in, right? But this AI and AGI is going to be, I think, the biggest change. I'm even outside the real estate industry, but I don't think there's a comparison, honestly. The impact that AI and AGI are going to have on humanity, really. The worst thing
I think the last time it happened, like Microsoft and Apple, that battle. Then the next one was the internet. And I think this is the third one, right? In terms of our lifetime, like the big impacts, computers came about. That was a huge impact. The internet came about. That was a huge impact. But now AI, boom, leverages all of that. And because it's compounding, it's going to have an even bigger effect.
That's the compounding effect of the AI, how fast it's learning. Like you're going to be able to plug AI into solving these unsolvable problems, and it's going to solve it because it's able to, essentially compute the different scenarios so much faster. We're going to see, now we're sounding like, science fiction writers, but you're going to see cures to diseases. Who's the guy that, I'm forgetting his name. I'll remember it as soon as I stop trying to remember it. But he is thinking that there's going to be a point where a technology is going to evolve to a point where it's within 10 years, where basically AI is going to create health, just different things that we can do to maintain our bodies. So in 10 years, you physically won't be aging any more than you will be in 10 years, right? So how do I say this in a different way? Because of modern health, if you're going to the doctor and you're just doing the things you're supposed to be doing, 12 months passes, but you effectively have only aged 8 months because because our lifelines are extending. The average human is living so much longer than they did even 25 or 50 years ago because of modern technology and health, right? So his theory is,
which means the average listing agent is going to die on a listing appointment that much older.
well, maybe, but that's the joke, right? Taking it to the next level. But the truth is that means that all of us are going to have more of an advantage because we're going to be around as our wealth compounds, assuming that you're working on, saving and investing, and you're working on maybe your EXP revenue share, and you're working on, so you're going to have the longer range benefit of essentially seeing the fruits of your labor pay off. You're going to be able to plant more trees, and actually, you're going to be around when they're growing up and they're now throwing off apples. I mean, but the point of it is that all of this that's the thing that's going to baffle the brain. Like everything you talked about before was rather binary, right? The internet, then we had, AOL, and then you could buy stuff online, and all was kind of like a predictable thing. But the exponential growth that's happening right now with AI and how fast it's learning and adapting and changing will be unbelievably scary for so many people because they won't be able to emotionally keep up with the changes. And that's right there. That's where there's going to be a big bifurcation, right? Not just in real estate, but in the world. There'll be people that hide from it and people that basically adapt to it and change and embrace it for what it is and look for ways to leverage it. And that's what you're doing. And I appreciate that. So I asked you a question earlier. What is it that you've come across in your studies of all of this that you're really excited about that would like really, cause everyone's jaw to just fall open?
In terms of real estate?
And well, I mean, we can make it about real estate, but how about in terms of AI? Like what would
Just
be
in terms of AI in general, I think you're right. Like health is the big one. Just the fact that they're working on contacts that can give someone sight, or AI that can make someone walk, or cure diseases. Like that stuff is mind-blowing and way above my pay grade. But it's really exciting to see it used in a health context to give us healthier lives, to, the anti-aging, that's been a dream of everybody since the dawn of time. So if you can have a longer life, because, we all have a home, we're excited to get you, but nobody wants to really rush the process, right? So if everybody's like, hey, can I get another 10 years with my grandkids? Can I have some more time to travel? Can I have some more time to experience this world? Because it's arguably a phenomenal world. That stuff's really cool. But the ability to help those without ability have ability that they've never had before, like sight, like that is just so cool.
Well, Ray Kurzweil, by the way, I had to look it up, but Ray Kurzweil, who I was talking about, you can listen to him on Joe Rogan's podcast. It was March 12th of 2024. So go back and listen to that one. So here's the thought. Okay. Now we're going to get really weird, but we can handle it. Right. So let's say you're 60 years old, and let's say your conditioning is that at 60 years old, your best days are behind you. Maybe it's 70, maybe it's 80, pick your year. And maybe you should start thinking smaller. Maybe you should give up those big, glorious dreams and the goals you had for yourself. Maybe you're never going to go to Europe. Maybe, right? And so what happens, you start the slow decline of your life, and your world gets smaller and smaller and smaller. Sound familiar, everyone? Because that's usually the path that people follow. Now what happens, if Ray Kurzweil is correct, what happens now if you reach that 50 years old or 60 years old, and now the expectation is you're going to live another 30 or 40 years and maybe longer? What does that do to how you think about life? Some of you are going like, oh no, that's just way too much to think about. And I get that. But many of you, what this is going to do, what this, even in the short term, that AI is going to do, it's going to liberate you. There's an old saying, nature abhors a vacuum. So when there's something is removed, something else will fill it almost immediately. So making this practical, and we're getting out of the science fiction realm, but making this practical, when AI is able to remove a lot of the task stuff in your real estate business, and frankly in your life, and it's gone, you're going to have to choose what's going to go in that time and that space. And that's going to make it so that many of us are going to be able to go to the next level, levels that we've never been able to think of, spiritually, physically, mentally, emotionally. Rick was talking about this. That's what's really, truly exciting. So when you see people talking about a dystopian version of the future, AI is going to make us all, slaves to AI, and none of us are going to have jobs and the whole thing. What if the exact opposite is true? Because the exact opposite is true. There are so many industries, so many little businesses that people are going to start. Rick has started some businesses. You're going to be able to say, I want to create $1 billion business, and I want to do it with no employees. I want to do it with all AI. You're going to be able to do it. All these things are going to happen because nature abhors the vacuum. And as soon as you're no longer burdened with the tasks of daily life, your brain is going to be liberated. It's going to be free. And you're going to search for other things to do with your time, your effort, your intellect. You want to learn something? AI is going to help you learn it. You want to create something? You're going to tell AI, I want to create a better version of something or another, and whatever. You're going to be able to work with all this AI, and you're going to be able to you can own 1,000 different businesses with 1,000 different AIs running the businesses. Maybe not 1,000, but you get the idea. I mean, that's just truly exciting, don't you think?
That is really cool. And it's unleashing a lot of creativity in people, and especially like with some of the technology that's coming out from Google and whatnot, where you can literally type in 1 or 2 sentences and create a 3 to 5 second video clip. People are going to become a production house. Like they're going to make a whole movie in a weekend just by typing in AI, getting clips, putting the clips together, having AI put the clips together, using AI to create the soundtrack for it and change the emotion as the emotion of the movie moves. And they will create their own characters. And you'll probably see AI characters become famous in the next year or two as people start taking over, and they're going to say, okay, I created, AI Tim, and AI Tim was this wonderful character in this great movie. And he starred in, his version of The Notebook. And all of a sudden now AI Tim has this romance thread where he's in all the rom-coms, but all the rom-coms made on AI. And there wasn't a single production house. There wasn't a single grip or a dolly carrier, or whatever the people are called at the end of the movie credits when they're scrolling through. There are going to be whole industry, a whole wave of people who are just creating movies using AI, creating music using AI. People in the creative space will still have a job if they're good. Realtors will still have a job if they're good. But one agent will be able to close 10x the deals they do now, because so much of what we do as mundane tasks will be able to be taken care of by AI.
Sora, which I think I'm saying that right.
Yeah, Sora.
That's what you were talking about. So everyone, you guys should Google that. Google Sora OpenAI, or just go to OpenAI. Is it OpenAI.org?
I think it's Google. Yeah, I think it's a Google initiative. So If you
Yeah, just Google
just
Sora.
Google Sora and Sora
Yeah.
video, you'll find it.
Yeah, Google Sora video and watch those videos. And remember, when you're watching those, the whole thing was created by AI. And underneath the video, they tell you what the prompt was. All prompt is like, create a video of a lady walking through downtown Tokyo with, and this is an actual video, with the rain falling, and she's wearing blah, 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 whatever you want it to do. And then look to see what the thing can create. And like Rick said, unbelievable. There's a story I heard recently. I don't remember who it was, but some guy was creating $1 billion studio to try to compete with one of these big production places that creates, simulated.
Yeah, and he was doing that down in Georgia, right?
Yeah. You heard this too. Yeah. So he basically goes, I don't know how much money he'd actually spent, but it was creating a studio. He was going to hire people, buying all this expensive hardware. And then he like tripped over Sora and he like said, nope, not going to do it. Cause he'll be able to create all this, the same quality of what he's wanting to create using which this AI technology. It completely obsoleted what his vision was, but now he's creating a bigger vision because he knows how he can leverage it. Before he was thinking about making one movie at a time. Now he's going to make 100 movies at a time. It's just incredible. I'll share this with you too. I'm sure you've heard this. Bruce Willis sold the rights to himself. And so I think it's over in Japan now. There's a AI Bruce Willis doing commercials, doing video commercials. So you said the celebrities are going to be able to do all the rest of it, but that's definitely going to happen. There are going to be you guys listening. You could be, you're like we were talking before, creating the avatars you with your voice, doing the videos. And Rick talked about, it being able to do waist up. There's AI I know that will do full body. It doesn't matter. What if you want to have an army of AI that are, 30 something nice looking professionals, all kinds of different ethnicities, all kinds of different body shapes and the whole 9 yards. And they're all your virtual AI that are doing nothing but creating content for yourself about your real estate practice. I mean, that's a good idea. I mean, there's so much you could do with it, right?
Yeah, and we can do more than waist up. It's just a matter of, when you're trying to communicate, what are you trying to communicate? You're communicating with your words. But when you can add video, you're adding emotion, you're adding style, you're adding your, how you're moving, your environment, right? So you might create 4 or 5 videos. I tell people with your avatar, like create one in your office, create one in a kitchen that's representative of the price point you want to sell. So if you want to sell $1 million homes, find $1 million home, create an avatar in $1 million home. Then if you're in California, Hawaii, outside is an important part of what you sell. Create an avatar outside. That takes a little more skill, maybe a professional crew because the lighting and the sound and everything else. But create 4, 5, 6, 10 avatars of yourself. Rotate through them, send different messages, put one in your car, change your shirt, do another one in your car. So it looks like you're always spontaneous. And the cost of these is going to be driven down so fast. Get in now while, it's $1 or $2 a minute, get in now. Because when it drives down, you'll already have the fluency in how to do it. And like Tim said, now, then you just add people, then you add other things. You can make B-roll right now for your neighborhood video and do it convincingly without having to hire a professional crew for $5,000 to go around through the day and B-roll your whole neighborhood. Like imagine when you get to the point where Sora is creating all your B-roll for all your videos. Now your AI assistant, your VA, can say, okay, I need a B-roll of going through Cherry Creek. Boom. It's crazy.
The thing I'm worried about with regards to just doing waist up, and when it comes to video, especially if you're programming your AI, is there's going to be a time where people are going to start looking at videos and they're going to be able to see what generation it was from, because inevitably what's going to happen is people are going to start saying, oh, videos like this, they must have been made like in this era because all the new videos are this, you know what I'm saying? I mean,
well, so where I'm going with that, Tim, though, is like right now we're waist up.
Yeah.
We're chest up. And so, when you're sending a video to somebody and you're saying, hey, I want to tell you about your home selling process, and you're doing that 10-step process, you're not filming your whole body.
Right.
So it all depends upon the context. So if I'm going to be walking around a neighborhood, yeah, I want to be full body. And someday we'll have full body avatars walking around neighborhoods. But for actually just your communication, and you're saying, hey, I just want to drop you a quick note on your home purchase, but your hair is bad, the kids are barking, their hammers going off in construction in the neighborhood, and you have a cold, but you want to send a really professional polished video because you want to up your game. But you still want, it's a relationship business. So you want to use that video to create and nurture that relationship. That's where you turn to your avatar.
Yeah, I agree. That's true. That makes perfect sense. Well, we've been on for 90 minutes. I could talk about this for all day,
Let's
honestly.
keep going.
Well, I mean, truthfully, I think this is the coolest topic just to sort of, it's one of the first times in certainly my lifetime where you can actually think about something and you can think about it without limits, right? So normally you have to think about things in terms of like a linear sort of self-limiting, but with AI, it's not like that. And I think there is a possibility. It's, you know, what Elon says, with there being a dark future to it, because AI could go kind of bonkers, you know. But in all reality, if you look at how, generally speaking, technologies evolve like this, they work out for the betterment of man. You know, Julie and I are working on a podcast where we're talking, like, some people think, which is bizarre to me, but some people think that like now is not better than, say, 10 years ago or 20 years ago or 50 years ago. Yeah, I know, isn't that hilarious? Yeah, they're not tied to the fact they'll say things like, well, people aren't living as long. No, they're saying things like people are this is in the health and they actually believe that we're worse off today than we were tomorrow. And it just not, that's not reality at all. But it's followed, it's not always been, I mean, there's been plagues and stuff that have made it so that, you know, there's been declining populations, and it's not always been like, it's been a little bit choppy, but then most of the times it's always been consistently going up. So what you're going to see with AI is you're going to see hockey stick growth, where the quality of people's lives and the quality of the products that we buy and sell, the quality of the education that we're, I mean, what's going to happen to formalized education? What's going to happen to, you know, Khan University, for example, which really took off during COVID, you know, it's going to, obviously you're going to have an AI. What about coaching? Hell, I mean, you're going to be able to have a real life coaching conversation with an AI that is indistinguishable from talking to Rick, the coach. I mean, that's going to happen. Of course, that's going to happen.
We can already do that. I could upload 5,000 Tim and Julie Harris podcasts, all of your training materials, and then put that all in a knowledge base. And then people can ask Tim and Julie questions, and Tim and Julie would answer just as if they were right there.
All right, we'll have to talk after the show today.
Now, obviously, it's never going to be as good and insightful as the, what did you say, squirrel on crack that you see before you right now.
I'm out of Celsius, so I'm going to start winding down. But yeah,
so you're never going to get the spice, you know, the true spice of working live with Tim, and that's invaluable.
Well,
I've done that, and even on this podcast, I'm learning so much, and so thank you for having me on. So you always want to hire Tim and Julie directly when you do, but that being said, there is so much, like, call it triage, right? When you have that inbound AI voice call and you answer it on the first ring, 80% of the questions can be answered by AI, but there's going to be that 20% you do a live transfer. And so what if your coaching business, all the triage, all the entry level stuff could be done by AI based off of your knowledge, but then it's the real, like, hey, I've got this particular situation that, you know, is totally unique and never happened before, or I've got a 100-person team and I want to grow to 200. Like, that's where you say, okay, let me live transfer you to Tim and Julie, because that's where the rubber meets the road. All the rest of it, you're coaching on rinse and repeat. You've taught FSBO before, you've taught Expired before, so have AI teach that.
well, what really excites me is all those things, right? And I would love to be able to do all the things you just said. And I would love to make it so that our coaching product was more financially reachable to more people. I mean, that would be a fantasy. What if, for example, Julie and I could get the coaching to the point where we could make it available for, you know, $20 a month and still be able to, you know, we can't do that now because we have so much physical humans that we have to pay. But I'll tell you the other aspect of this, which is really exciting that we should talk about, is how to use this for sponsoring agents. Because if you think about AI when it comes to recruiting agents into real estate brokerages, and then maybe you get outside the real estate industry, because there's a lot of businesses that are predicated on basically recruitment, that's where things can really get bonkers, you know, as far as the potential for something like that.
Yeah, and it can. And when AI first came out, I immediately got on the phone with C-suite at EXP, because I was like, hey, we need to talk about this, because at the time, this is before February 8th, there were no handcuffs. I could have literally called a $2 million person database in a couple of days and had personalized conversations with every single agent in the country. And I said, the power of that is to harm other agents if it's done poorly is out of control. And we shouldn't let that happen, because that many impersonal, you know, like, one person can blow the income opportunity, which is amazing at EXP with RevShare. One person could blow the opportunity for 89,000 other people. That being said, there are prudent and responsible ways to do that are that work within our EXP agent attraction guidelines, where you could use this for attraction. You just have to use it very responsibly, because, you know, like you said, it can amplify for good or amplify for bad, and you want to amplify for good.
Well, so I had a call yesterday with someone in our group, and his name's Dan, and he is about to secure a brokerage with 1,000 agents. right? And he got that, Rick, from making calls, outbound calling. That's what he did. And as you know, there's other people that it's just a one-to-one contact, calling somebody when they're ready to make a decision or open to, moving in a different direction professionally. And that's another thing you could leverage AI for. I mean, there's just so many different possibilities. It's truly just extraordinary, right?
So so let's go back to the avatar, because on a one-on-one voice, because of the whole Biden thing and everything else, the FCC freaked out and they said, no, you can't make outbound calls without express one-on-one written consent. Like the consent from Zillow does not transfer to the agent.
Can you stop there for a second?
One-on-one. Yeah.
Right. So stop there for a second. So if someone, because I need to understand that. I think I do, but I want to make sure everyone else does. So express written. So if someone responds to something and says, yes, I agree to receive some form of communication from you. It's just like a TCPA disclosure. If someone's agreeing to get a text from you, they have to agree. You can opt out at any time. You're acknowledging the fact you're going to receive this many texts, the whole thing. You're saying a disclosure like that, basically.
It is, but it has to specifically call out, I can receive a call from an AI generated voice. Then that outbound AI generated voice has to identify itself as such. Now, you're not going to say, hey, this is an AI generated voice, Rick. But no, just like you never lead a call with this call is going to be recorded for quality. No, nobody's going to answer those calls, just like nobody answers a potential spam call, which is why we also have Clean ID, which cleans your caller ID and makes sure that you don't go out as when you're cold calling with AI, like thousands of people a day. You don't want potential spam on your number. So we have a solution for that. But what we're going with is like when you can do a value exchange with somebody and have them opt in, because if your marketing is good enough, people will pay you to receive your marketing, and they're going to pay you with their permission and their consent. Now that you've given them something of monster value, like you could say, hey, get a free month of coaching from us. Click here, opt in. Now that they've opted in, now your AI generated voice can call out, and it can call out. We can actually clone your voice. And you can say, hey, this is AI Tim. I wanted you to get an experience of what it's actually like to talk to me. I can't talk to 1,000 people a month, but now I can through AI. And so AI Tim can call people and engage them and then do a live transfer to your closers. We're going to do, actually, Dan, we're going to do, I had a conversation with someone on his team earlier this week. We're going to create an avatar of Dan to try that out. And he wants to see, like, what does that look like? But from an agent attraction standpoint, imagine then if every time somebody comes in from a lead form, they get a personalized video. Hey, this is Tim. I wanted to reach out to you, Julie, because I see you there in Boston, Massachusetts. I really appreciate the fact you work at Remax and you put a lot of time in there. And I want to personally invite you to have a call with me. Now that video with all those personalized touch points can be sent out 1,000 a minute.
So what you're saying is the AI would then customize the video so that it was a personalized message opposed to just a generalized message that would be essentially, for everyone.
And we can do that with this. We can do that with a CSV file as easily as you change the variables in a MailChimp or a constant contact, and you put in first name, city, blah, blah, blah. You change the variables, you have the script. The API, which is like a little electric courier for people, it takes information from one website to another. Through an API, a lead can come in, API can trigger your CRM. The CRM can send the personalized video with everything you want to said, because the script changes all the variables, and that video will go out every time the lead comes in. Now, the FCC is not saying you have to have consent for a personalized video. So you use the personalized video to say, hey, can you visit this website? I've got something very special for you. They visit the website where then they click on something that says, yes, I opt in. Now the AI generated voice kicks over and it makes the 10 to 15 to 20 calls it takes to actually make human connection with them. And then the AI voice has a conversation with them that's virtually indistinguishable from you. Here's where it gets funny though, is I had somebody one time ask, like, can you talk about pre-World War I vintage cars? And our AI generated voice just talked for 3 minutes without skipping a beat. Had an interactive conversation. Like, that's where it's not human, because she'll, but we can also limit that. Like, hey, funny that you should ask, but let's stay on point, right? And so you can write in parameters into your prompts when you're building out the voice so that it does sound more like you. So you're not all of a sudden like a World War II expert, talking about the fall of whatever. Like you need to put like limiters on it. And say, no, I'm not here to talk about religion. I'm not here to talk about the election. I'm actually just here to talk about real estate. Can we focus?
Well, like on your ylibertas.com/Rick page, right? So you could have it so that when someone fills out, wanting to receive more information, a lead form, you could actually have an AI avatar video pop up, already knowing, obviously the person just filled out a form saying, hey, Bob, thank you for, visiting our site. I just wanted to let you know that we're going to be whatever the hell it's going to say, but it's going to be a personalized video that's going to pop up. And if you think about that from a interaction, human experience side, that's really intoxicating, the things you could do with that. Honestly, it's crazy.
Here's another place that I think it has wide application. And I've had this conversation with a couple corporations, but can we use EXP as an example? It's a big corporation, 89,000 agents. So let's say you have AI monitoring production, and AI comes along and says, hey, I noticed Tim didn't sell a home in October. So all the agents having consented to receive a call, AI voice reaches out and says, hey, this is customer support over at EXP. Noticed you didn't do a deal in October. Is any education that you need, anywhere you're struggling that I can help with? Yeah, I've been really trying to farm, and I don't know the scripts, or I don't know the tools. I don't know hey, let me check the calendar for a second. Okay, great. I noticed on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, because we have over 60 hours a week of live training at EXP, I noticed that Monday, Wednesday, Friday, there are classes on your specific topic. Did you know those existed? And can I sign you up for those and put them on your calendar for you? So you can reach out and educate people and tie them in from a cultural standpoint. You can build a tighter knit community no matter how fast your corporation's growing. And EXP is always staffed up for it. But let's say we just go that level deeper, right? Or you say, hey, Tim, I noticed you sold your first $1 million house. Just wanted to reach out and say congratulations. You could do that with an AI voice. You could do that with an AI avatar. You could have Glenn Sanford, the CEO, the founder, reach out with a personalized avatar saying, I wanted to congratulate you. This is the best month you've had all year. Keep it going. Right?
Dude, that's so freaking cool. It just truly is exceptionally cool. You said the key word you said was community. And that's the secret sauce for any business, especially an online business, is the sense of community. Because if people stay in environments, even if it's not, if they have a sense of belonging and a sense of attachment and a sense of community, right? And you're really spot on. I like how forward thinking you are on this whole thing. So Rick, I'm going to challenge you to something. You ready?
To stop talking?
No, dude, trust me. I'm listening. I am totally listening. I love this stuff. I'm a nerd, you are obviously would be a fantastic sponsor for someone at EXP. So if someone wanted to choose you as their sponsor, I want you to give your phone number slowly. And then I'm going to challenge you with this. You obviously have a lot of, you're involved in Appointment Pilot and some other things. I would assume, be inclined to give to the folks that would join under you at EXP some kind of trial, if not free access to your products. I hadn't asked you about that prior. Okay, so I'm throwing this on you in front of all these people, but you tell me what your thoughts are.
Production is the ultimate agent attractor. And when you have an easy button to production, it becomes a very big attraction magnet. So one of the reasons we've been building this out for the past 4 months is exactly to your point, actually. No, you hadn't prompted me on this, but I'm glad you could read my mind, because we can actually snapshot this out to all agents anywhere in the country. Everything we're building out, from that lead you've never met to an appointment on your calendar, that whole system of removing the agent as the variable in prospecting, that's what we've built out, is the easy button everybody's always been looking for, because it's the easy button I needed. As a single dad, I don't have the time always to do the prospecting I need to be as productive as I need. And I know so many agents around the country who are with their own struggles, whatever it might be, momentary or long-term, they struggle in lead gen and conversion. And what we really want is more appointments. And so when you join my group at EXP, we are building this for you so that you have the easy button for production. So that my phone number slowly to text is 303-589-2320. That's 303-589-2320 for Rick. I'm borrowing that carpet.
That's how you know it's not AI, because AI would way better than that.
I'm also a squirrel on crack, dude. You know that.
Yeah. Well, but it's fun. I hope people are really benefited from listening or watching this. And this was not AI, because if it was AI, it would be way better. But I hope what people are walking away from is not being intimidated by the technology that's around the bend. So he and I are both in our early 50s, being somewhat generous. And I'll tell you for sure that there have been many times where there have been big, oh my gosh, this is happening type fear-based things, and they've always made life better. You can go back in history. You can go back, hundreds of years, if not thousands of years, and you'll find that, remember the ascension thing I was showing you guys earlier? Please don't be intimidated by this. I love the fact that he pointed out that a lot of older people are embracing appointment pilot. That's awesome. So open your mind to the possibilities. Don't wait for someone to say, okay, this is what you're supposed to do. Don't wait for your brokerage to say, this is best practices, do this. They're going to be trailing. You got to be leading you connect with Rick, honestly. Listen to our podcast. We're going to be doing more content like this. You have to be 10 steps ahead because the AI is going to cause things to grow so quickly. And now more than ever, you can create an amazing amount of content on autopilot that will make it so that the chances of you being obsoleted because somebody else is churning out a bunch of video content or whatever is zero. You can be competitive. Like say, for example, you wanted to specialize in luxury homes. That's one of the things you want to do. When Rick said create many avatars, what he was suggesting was you might have an avatar that's creating first-time homebuyer content. You might have an avatar that's creating nothing but mortgage content. It's you talking about first-time buyers, you talking about mortgages. Well, now you always wanted to get into luxury real estate, whatever that is in your market. You can have an avatar that's going to do nothing but talk about luxury real estate. And that's the thing that should be for everyone, feel amazingly liberating. And then when someone reacts to the video and they want more information and they do the clicky thing, they're then going to go into another AI controlled experience where the AI Rick is going to pop back up and he's going to say, well, thank you for, whatever it is. And then that's going to turn into maybe an appointment or maybe another personalized call. All of those things are going to be done at a higher level than they're done now. And they're not going to be subject to all the threat vectors that we have from having to use assistants. Oh, that person's sick. Oh, that person's not calling people back because they're busy. They're on the phone, had a fight. Their cat had, was sick, whatever it is, all these silly things. AI is going to make it so all of us can operate on many different fields simultaneously at higher levels than we can ever imagine. And that's exciting. And do remember what he said. I personally, this is my big takeaway. The art, I won't even say it art. That makes it sound too complicated. The ability to have fluid conversations, the ability to communicate with people at a high level is going to become the differentiator in the future because the technology is going to become ubiquitous. There will be a time when everyone has access to the same, tech suites that you do. Everyone's going to be creating the same stuff. It's all going to be oversaturated. The one thing will never be oversaturated, as Rick pointed out, is you. There's only one of you. You're going to need to learn at the highest level possible to be a great one-on-one communicator and connector. And, it's a whole new wide world and it's so exciting. And I hope all of you guys are feeling that motivation from Rick and I. And Rick, listen, Julie and I love you. We appreciate you being part of our lives. I think this is something that I should start having you back on our show on a regular basis so we can start sharing with folks the newest updates. I actually have an offer for you. Okay. So we started a newsletter. It's, Beehive, but it's harrisrealestatedaily.com. Okay. harrisrealestatedaily.com. If you'd like to be our official AI editor and contributor, and I realize you're going to just use AI to write all your content, and that's fine. But if you wanted to do that, you can carve out that niche on the newsletter. It's going to like almost 30,000 people every day. Okay, there you go.
I accept.
And by the way, it's unpaid. So just so we're clear on that.
I get that. I knew that. But hey, just being able to teach your audience and Tim and Julie have taught me to be practical and tactical and do everything I don't want to do at the highest possible level. To be able to do that and to serve more people, that really is exciting because right now I coach agents at over 100 different brokerages. So, if you're at a brokerage and it's not EXP, don't worry about that. I teach Compass and Sotheby's and everybody else. And I don't have a scarcity mindset. The world's big enough. So let's all learn this. Let's all operate at a higher level. And let's have some fun with this. It's really a joy to do.
It is. And so your number for them to text you is
303-589-2320.
All right, everyone. Thank you. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that as much as Rick and I did. Have a fantastic day. More interviews on the way. Thank you for joining.
Thanks, everybody.
See you, Rick.
This podcast is a part of the C-Suite Radio Network. For more top business podcasts, visit c-suiteradio.com.